Hey guys, I am Meredith and welcome back to my channel. So for this week, I wanted to kind of keep the momentum going from last week where I was diving into some new skills that I haven't tried before, and I actually just randomly got this beading loom from Joann's. I saw it and bought it for $6. So I thought that this would be a perfect thing for us to learn together next. Last week I did the ribbon embroidery, which if you have any interest in embroidery at all, that was a really good basics. If you just want to learn a couple of quick stitches and just like get my feedback on my process doing that, I will link it for you so you can watch that if you want. And then for this week, we're gonna go over how this beading loom works. So this was $6, super cheap. I don't really know what you're supposed to do with this beading after it's done. Like, I don't know if this is for jewelry or if it's for clothing, but I'm going to try and learn how to use it. I just have the loom itself, and then I have some little seed beads. I think this works with any kind of bead, but I thought that seed beads might just be easier. And then this didn't really say what kind of string you need, so I just got upholstery thread. I wanted something a little bit on the thicker side, and this is an outdoor upholstery thread, so it should be nice and strong to hold all those beads on. So this was just a educated guess. I don't know if this is actually what I need, but that is what I got. So let me go ahead and take this out of the box. So the loom itself looks like this. It's just like a little metal thing with two little springs on it. And then what else comes in here? Some instructions. And then these little, what are these called? Spools. So these are the little spoolie things that I guess go on either side of here to hold the string in. So I got this loom a couple of months back, and again, I was just like walking through Joann's and saw it on the bottom shelf and saw that it was $6 and bought it. I didn't know what I was planning on using it for, but I thought it'd be a cool thing to just like learn how to use. So I have not even opened this thing. I literally have no clue how it works. So let's look at the instructions here. Place a threaded bolt between one of the metal grooves and slide it through a spool. Okay, until it reaches the groove on the opposite side of the frame. Okay, secure the bolt in place with a single wing nut. Repeat on the frame's opposing end. All right, so we're gonna take these little, what do they call these? Spools. And they're gonna go right in this little crook right here. There's like a little piece that bends in right there. So one will go in one side. And then there's these little, comes with these little wing nuts that are gonna go on there. So to put this together, I'll screw this on. It's kind of compressing that. I don't know if it's supposed to do that or not. Anyway, okay, so that's one. And then we'll put it on the other side as well. Design decisions. Choose design using the example shown below or make up a design using the grid provided on the back page. So I didn't really pick these with any sort of pattern in mind. This little pack of beads is kind of like a mix of a bunch of different colors of red. This one's all one color of like purple with pink inside, and then this is a little bit larger, like iridescent purple as well. So I don't really have a pattern in mind. I really just grabbed these because I thought that they were cute and pretty. So I'll probably start with this red pack just to give us some variety, but let's see how this actually works. Once the design length and number of rows are determined, cut the dandelion. It should be 2 feet longer than the actual design length. It is better to overestimate the length of the dandelion. Okay, so the dandelion is the thread itself. I don't know how long I want this to be. I guess I'll just do it the length of the loom. I'm not doing this for anything in particular other than just to learn how this thing works. I'm assuming that you could use this thing to make beaded trim for like an outfit, like if you wanted to use it to put it onto something that is wearable. I would imagine that that is what you could use this for. Basically what it says here is, let's say you want to have 5 rows of beads, you need to have 6 strands of thread. So I'm gonna go ahead and do that. We're gonna do 5 rows, so I'm gonna do 6 strands. Lay strands of dandelion alongside each other, tie a knot on one end, and trim off excess dandelion close to the base of the knot. Separate the bundle into 2 equal halves. All right, so I'm gonna go ahead and cut 6 equal length pieces to that, and then we can make our dandelion. Okay, so now I have my 6 pieces of thread. So I'm gonna tie a knot on this end in all 6 pieces. Okay, so separate the bundle into 2 equal halves, place the dandelion knot. Okay, so we're gonna do 3 and 3. So that is split now down the middle. And then on this loom, on these little spools, it has these little nubbin things on the spools, and that is what we're going to put the knot under. So let me read here. Place the dandelion knot under the wooden spool's nail head. Make sure the dandelion bundle is separated into 2 equal halves. Turn the spool so the dandelion winds itself around the spool. Approximately 8 inches of dandelion should remain. Knot the loose end of the dandelion as done previously. What? All right, so to put this on, I'm going to take the knot that I made and, oh crap, I gotta separate this again. And then I'm gonna take this knot and put it around this little nubbin thing. Before I start winding this, I'm gonna separate these threads just because that seems like right now is gonna be probably the easiest time to do it. So now I'm holding this taut on this end. This is all the excess thread, and then this is the one where it's wrapped around the little nail head. So now it says, these instructions just don't make a whole lot of sense to me. Okay, so I'm gonna twist this now. This is the one where the knot is already on there. And it doesn't say to do this, but I'm holding it taut with my other hand just because I feel like if I let it go, the threads are just gonna fly off. So now I'm gonna do the same thing on this side. And now it gets a little bit trickier because you have to keep this separated in the way that you have it on the thing. If that makes any sense? Probably not. Dang, dude. They tell you that you have to have a lot of extra of this thread, but shoot, it is really hard to like manage. Oh, okay. Okay. So now that is taut on there. So this is nice and tight. So when you're finished stringing everything, you should have something that looks like this, where it has extra wrapped around the little spools, and then it's nice and taut here in the middle. Stringing beads. Once the loom is threaded, begin beading at the spool end that holds the least amount of dandelion. That would be probably this side. Cut a single 36-inch length of dandelion and thread the needle. Okay, so I just need to cut more of this. It doesn't say anything about needle size, so I'm actually gonna use a pretty big needle just because I think they're easier to work with. Place the beads needed for 1 row on the dandelion. Only 1 row is completed at a time. Each bead is held between 2 strands of dandelion as shown. I'm gonna go ahead and crack open this little multicolored red tube that we've got going on here. All right, I'm gonna pour a little bit of beads onto this teensy little plate here. Ooh, these beads are pretty. I'm just gonna pick up, let's see, I did 6, so I can do 5. Because they need to go between. So I'm just gonna pick up, I'm gonna see if I can do like 1 of each color. Knot the end of the dandelion to an outside thread on the loom. Trim the dandelion close to the knot. Position the dandelion under the loom thread. Lift the beads against the loom threads with each bead between two loom threads. Okay. Tighten the row by pulling the dandelion. Straighten the beads with the bead-along beading all, following the chosen pattern on the grid. All right, again, I'm not doing a pattern, just sewing, just putting them on there. So, okay, this, I don't know why they tell you to put the beads on there first, because now I have all these beads on my needle and I have to hold it up straight, but I also have to like tie a knot in here. So they should have told me to tie a knot before I picked up these beads. At least that's what I think. So I'm gonna set this needle down gently. Hope those beads don't come off. And now I'm tying a knot on the outside thread. So now that that's knotted, okay, this says to take the thread and go under the loom. So this is gonna go underneath. And now the thread is under. So now I can let these beads drop. Oh, except that the thread just came out of the dang needle. Okay, let's try that again. And this has got my little bead dudes on here. And then these will get sandwiched in between the thread so that there's a thread between each one. And then now I'll put the needle through all of the beads. Will they be secured? Wow. Huh. Okay, cool. So that is on. So really quickly, before I start to get into the flow of this, I'm gonna set this up so y'all can see this up close. I know this angle is, y'all can't see anything that I'm doing. So let me switch this so I can show y'all exactly how to do this. And then we will just sew along here. All right, so now that we're up close, you can see this is my first string of the little beads. I just tied a knot right here on this outside thread to secure it. And then when you go under, you line up all the beads and then go through and that secures it. So now I have my needle and I'm gonna put 5 more beads on there, just picking them at random. All right, so now I have my beads here. I'm gonna go ahead and let them drop down on my thread, just because I think that's easier. And then I'm gonna go underneath with my needle because that will put the thread underneath the loom itself. And now I'm gonna take my little beads and raise them up and then kind of move them around here so that they're sandwiched. See how they get sandwiched between the threads? And then now I'll take my, oh crap. And then now I will take my needle and go through them. And then when I pull that, that will secure it. And then you just keep going with that and that will make your little beading piece. So not super difficult. That's what I have so far. I also want to learn how to do tambour beading, which is a much more complicated beading technique than this. And that is like what's considered to be like a couture sewing technique. I know literally nothing about like quote unquote couture sewing. I know it's a lot of like handwork and really delicate stuff. And I think one day I'll want to learn that stuff, but I don't know that it's something that I'll do on a regular basis, but I guess it just would be cool to like know some of those techniques. Okay, I feel like I have the hang of these little dudes, so I am going to move these threads around a little bit to see if I can do these larger beads. So I think what I'm gonna do is just turn this a little bit so that these threads are just a little bit looser. And I think instead of being like between each of these little things, I'm gonna do every other. So now you see how this is in every other one right here, and then now I have this in, or this is in every single little crevice, and this is every other, so it's a little bit wider. And then now that I have that the way I want it, I'm gonna turn this so that it tightens those threads again. And then now it's taut again. So instead of taking this out, I'm gonna just start at the other end. All right, so to start this off, I'm gonna take, just like I did the last time, I'm gonna take my thread and I'm gonna double knot it around the outside. All right, so that's tied on. So now I'm going to lay the thread off to the side here. All right, let those fall down. Then the needle will go under. And then we pull this. And now, oh yeah, that's so much better. Yeah, so you'll just have to play around with how big your beads are as far as like how far away or how far apart the little threads should be for each one, but double is like the perfect amount for these fatter seed beads. And then you just go through just like on the other side, and then I can just keep going just like I did on the other side. All right, and that's a little patch of the larger beads. Still super cute, and we'll just tie that really taut. And you can manipulate these around, like even once they're on, you can move them around. So that's the bigger seed beads, and then that's the original smaller ones. All right, y'all, so that is how you use a beading loom. Now mine specifically is the Beadalon brand, but I don't know if there are other brands of beading looms, but honestly, this is super, super easy. And I'm not really sure how I'm going to apply this to the things I normally make. I'm not really much of a jewelry maker, but I thought that this would be fun to see if I could make beading to put onto things that I make to wear. So I definitely gonna be trying this out again soon. This little pack of beads that I got that's like the pink and reds is perfect for a project I have coming up for Valentine's Day. So keep your eyes peeled for that. That will be coming next month. Overall, I would say that this is an excellent technique for someone who is a beginner to beading. I'm definitely a beginner when it comes to beading. So this will be fun to kind of play around with and see how I can actually apply it to my normal things that I make on a regular basis. I hope that this was informative for you guys and at least a little bit entertaining. If you enjoyed this video, please give it a thumbs up and subscribe to my channel. I do try to post a video every single week. It doesn't always happen, but I do try. You can also find me on Instagram. My handle is So Far From Ordinary, just like my channel. So I hope to see you there, and I hope to see you on my next video. Bye guys.